Hockey fans, it's finally here, the Four Nations Championship game between Canada and the United States of America. I mean, if you guys saw that game last Saturday night between these two teams, it was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, one of the greatest hockey games I've ever watched. Let me tell you something right now. The NHL got it right by introducing this Four Nations face-off format instead of the All-Star game. NHL, listen to me right now. Get rid of the All-Star game. We don't need it. We want this instead. I want it. A bunch of hockey fans want it, and it's because of the United States versus Canada matchup from Saturday night. That was absolutely phenomenal. The first 9 seconds in that game, ladies and gentlemen, 9 seconds in the first period, there were 3 fights between Canada and the United States of America. I mean, this is what hockey's all about, right? Bragging rights, respect, honor, legacy. I mean, talented players on both sides. You got a lot of players from Canada, a talented team there. You got a talented United States of America team. It was unbelievable. I'm watching this game, and I'm just like, whoa, what the hell is going on here? I mean, why is the ref already blowing the whistle? And then all of a sudden, I see sticks flying. I see the gloves dropping. It's go time, dude. It's ready to go. We're ready to rumble. And dude, it was awesome. 3 fights in the first 9 seconds of that game. I mean, you already knew how that game was going to be. It set the tone for how that game was going to be for the rest of the night. It was awesome. It was amazing. The United States won that game 3-1. It was awesome. Like I said, one of the greatest hockey games I ever watched. NHL, listen to me, like I said numerous times. Listen to me right now. Get rid of the All-Star game now. We want the Four Nations Championship format. We want the Four Nations Face-Off Championship. We want different countries to compete in this tournament as well. We love it. Keep it. Get rid of the All-Star game. We don't need it. So that was awesome. A great suggestion by the NHL to really try to get viewers back into the game. Hockey is a different game, dude. And it's a shame that it doesn't get the recognition that it deserves. Like, ESPN needs to cover hockey more. I am sick and tired of watching the NBA and how much coverage they get. They don't even play basketball. Hockey is a different sport. They're playing for pride. You got guys out there who are hurt, who are injured, but they're playing for their country because they are playing for pride and respect and honor and legacy. And this is what the Four Nations face-off format is all about. So, what a great format. What a great suggestion/idea by the NHL. It started last Wednesday. The Canada team went against Sweden. That was another great game, by the way. What a great way to start off the Four Nations format. And Canada won 4-3 in overtime. Cale Makar scored the game-winning goal in that one. And then the next day, Thursday, February 13th, last Thursday, USA won 6-1. It looked like against Finland. That looked like a very close game. But then the third period came, and then the United States woke up and scored 4 goals in the third period, and they ended up winning 6-1 against Finland. So yeah, the Four Nations. It's all come down to this. The Four Nations Face-Off Championship game between Canada and the United States is tonight, 8 p.m. on ESPN, live from the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. We beat Canada on their home turf in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Now we'll see if Canada gets their revenge and try their best to beat the United States on our turf in Boston, Massachusetts. This game is going to be without Charlie McAvoy from the Boston Bruins, a great player. Shoulder injury, he's going to be out. Both Tkachuk players, the brothers, Brady and Matthew Tkachuk, they are expected to play in this game. Matthew Tkachuk was hurt. In the Canada game, we didn't see him a whole lot in the third period. He was sitting on the bench. I'm sure a lot of you saw that. And then Brady Tkachuk injured himself a couple days ago against Sweden, Monday against Sweden. But both brothers are expected to play in this game, so that's good news for the United States of America. We need as many guys as possible. I mean, we got Austin Matthews. You got Dylan Larkin. You got the Tkachuk brothers. But now you're without Charlie McAvoy. Connor Hellebuck, the goaltender, has been absolutely phenomenal. There's a lot of talent on this USA team. And, we need as many guys as possible because Canada has a very talented team as well. Obviously led by Sidney Crosby, and you got Connor McDavid, you got Nathan MacKinnon, Cale Makar, just to name a few guys. Seth Jarvis, Anthony Cirelli, just a lot of guys on that Canada team. And so this is going to be a great matchup. I mean, I can't wait for it tonight, Thursday night. 8 p.m. ESPN. Go USA, get that victory. And so how did this happen? How did we come to this point? How did we come to the championship matchup between these two countries? So the USA clinched their spot last Saturday when they beat Canada 3-1. They automatically got their bid because they beat Canada in regulation, so enough points to advance automatically to the championship round. So that was a great win by the United States. And then Canada advanced by beating Finland this past Monday night 5-3 to advance to the championship round. So yeah, once again, USA versus Canada. This is what hockey fans want. This is what the Four Nations Championship is all about. I mean, two iconic countries going at it. You know, there's many times that Canada, beat the United States of America. They had our number. They kicked our ass. But now it's time for the United States to flip the script and get this championship victory against Canada. It's going to be a great matchup. Like I said, talented players on both sides, on both sides of the game. You know, Canada's got a great roster, as I mentioned. USA has a great roster, so it's going to be a great one. It's going to be a great matchup tonight. So throughout this series, the Tkachuk brothers, going back to them, Brady and Matthew Tkachuk. Brady Tkachuk obviously playing for the Ottawa Senators, and then Matthew Tkachuk playing for the Florida Panthers, who won a Stanley Cup last year against the Edmonton Oilers, Game 7. All of you remember that. Florida was up 3-0, and then Edmonton tied the series, forcing the Game 7, but ultimately the Panthers won. So Matthew Tkachuk, defending Stanley Cup champion there. They have a combined 4 goals out of the 9 goals. 4 out of the 9 goals they scored for this USA team in the first 2 games. That's absolutely phenomenal. Like I said, we need these guys. We need as many guys as possible. Like I said, Austin Matthews is great. Dylan Larkin is great. The Tkachuk brothers are great. But we definitely need these guys on the ice tonight, and they got brilliant, everything they have. And then now we gotta go back to Connor Hellebuyck, Michigan. He's from Michigan, Commerce Township. He graduated from Walled Lake Northern in 2011. He only allowed 2 goals so far in 2 games this entire round robin tournament for the Four Nations face-off. Only 2 goals. I mean, this guy's unbelievable. He has a chance to win his 3rd Vezina Trophy, which he would be the first American to ever win 3 Vezina trophies. He's looked, and he deserves it. This guy looks absolutely phenomenal in this tournament. So he's got to bring it tonight. Hopefully, and like I said, Canada's looking for revenge. They're pissed off. They want to win this game for their country. They want to get payback for the U.S. to come on their turf and beat them 3-1 last Saturday. So now they want to return the favor. So this is a huge game for Connor Hellebuyck. He has to be red hot. He has to be on point tonight against Canada. So you have that. And then on the other side, Jordan Binnington for Canada. Not really the greatest season for him this year. I mean, especially in this tournament, he's allowed some goals that, I mean, how do you not save that? You're in the NHL. You're an NHL goalie. You have to make those saves. A lot of questionable decisions by him. In this tournament, he only has a .892 save percentage. Not the greatest, especially when you're only facing 3 other teams, Finland, Sweden, and the United States. Like I said, questionable decisions. How does he, there's a lot of missed saves that were committed by him. And then on the season, he only has a 15-9-4 record on the season. Not the greatest season for him. So something mentally is going on with him. It's just not the Jordan Binnington that we saw in 2019 when he won a Stanley Cup with the St. Louis Blues. So we'll see what he can do against the United States tonight. But man, I mean, this is awesome. This is what this tournament's all about, right? And I think, in my opinion, I think this is what the NHL wanted. They wanted the United States and Canada to go at again, because after watching last Saturday's game, I mean, how can you not, right? It was awesome. It was entertaining from start to finish. I mean, 3 fights in 9 seconds. I have never seen that ever in my entire life. All my years watching hockey, 3 fights in the first 9 seconds of a game. Unbelievable. I mean, you got to be kidding me, dude. I mean, that's old school hockey. That's what we want. That's what's going to create ratings. And that's why I strongly believe the NHL needs to get more coverage than the NBA or the NFL or all these other sports. I mean, the NHL, look at this format. This format works. We want the Four Nations to stay. Get rid of the All-Star game. All these other leagues should listen. MLB, the NBA, maybe in the NFL. Just get rid of all All-Star games, the Pro Bowls. Get rid of all that garbage. We need this, especially for the NHL. But for the other leagues, take notes. The NHL is the stepping stone. They are sending the message. They are setting the tone for what a mid-season, I guess, tournament or mid-season play should be like. Four Nations face-off is here to stay. All-Star game, get the hell out of here. We don't want you anymore. So watch the Four Nations championship game tonight. Canada versus the United States of America. Go USA. Take care of business. 8 p.m. ESPN at the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. So check that one out. And now we got to talk about Fight Night. We got a boxing event. I kid you not. We have 7. Yes. Listen to me on this one. 7 championship fights being defended on this fight card this weekend. Beterbiev versus Bivol 2. Second time these two are going at it, and it's for Beterbiev's undisputed light heavyweight championship. It's going to be phenomenal, and that's only one out of the other 6 championship fights. I mean, I don't think I ever seen a fight night where all the championships were defended. Maybe in the UFC, I can't really think about it at the moment, but for boxing, this is phenomenal. And I'm going to watch this. I'm going to try my best to watch all the fights, but I definitely want to watch this fight. Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol 2 for Beterbiev's undisputed light heavyweight championship. It's this Saturday, The Zone. They're going to show it on their streaming service, and then it's going to be available on pay-per-view.com as well. 10:30 Eastern time. That's when this whole thing starts, and then the walkouts for Beterbiev versus Bivol, approximately going to start around 6 o'clock. Obviously give or take, it just depends how long the other fights go on. But dude, 7 championship fights being defended on this fight card. Boxing fans, you have to be excited. You have to be ecstatic. You have to be losing your minds. So, knowing that there's going to be 7 championships on the line, legacies are going to be made, upsets are going to happen, a lot of knockouts perhaps. I mean, I did my research on a lot of these fighters, and there are a lot of knockout artists. There's a lot of knockout machines on this fight card, so it's going to be very entertaining. 7 title fights. It's awesome. We got to go through it right now. So Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol 2. Second time these two have fought, obviously last October, these two fought for the undisputed light heavyweight championship, and Bivol lost by a majority decision, 116 to 112, 115 to 113, and then 114 to 114. So a very close fight between these two boxers. And Bivol, as a result of his loss, he lost the WBA, the World Boxing Association, Super, and the IBO, the International Boxing Association, light heavyweight titles as a result. It was for the WBC, IBF, WBO, the reigning light heavyweight titles last time, and it's for all those titles this time around. It's the undisputed light heavyweight championship for all the marbles. Everything's on the line for this one. You got Beterbiev, Artur Beterbiev, 21-0, 20 knockouts, so he's a knockout artist. A lot of power when he fights. He's 40 years old. He's defending the undisputed light heavyweight title against Dmitry Bivol. He's 34 years old, still relatively young, in his prime. 23-1 with 12 knockouts. As many of you remember, and I mentioned this last week on the podcast, he beat Canelo Alvarez, who's one of the greatest boxers of all time, in May of 2022 by unanimous decision. He retained the WBA, the World Boxing Association, super light heavyweight title as a result. So this is going to be a really good one. So now you have the classic case of power versus technique with this matchup here. So obviously, like I said, a rematch from the 2024 fight. Bivol lost by majority decision. So Beterbiev, he's the power machine, as I mentioned, 21-0, 20 knockouts. He loves his knockout power. He loves to throw for power. And then Bivol is more the technical fighter. He's going to throw some jabs. He's going to throw some hooks. He's going to move his head around. He's going to look for openings. He's not going to really hit for power. It's more for accuracy and connection, right? So This is going to be a classic matchup. A lot of people are saying this is going to be better than the first fight. I really hope it is. I saw highlights of the first fight, and yeah, majority decision. I mean, that could have went either way. A lot of people said Bivol won that fight. Others say Beterbiev won the fight. Well, they gave it to Beterbiev, so Bivol has an opportunity to become the undisputed light heavyweight championship, avenge that loss from last October, and, you know, solidify himself as one of the greatest boxers of all time with this victory, in my opinion. So, yeah, all the titles are on the line. WBA, WBC, IBF, WBO, the ring belts. Every single one of them on the line this Saturday. So who's going to win this one? The Brise's pick for Beterbiev versus Bivol 2. I am going to go with Dimitri Bivol. I like his chances. I like, you know, the comeback story. I strongly believe he's going to get his revenge against Beterbiev. You know, I think that the technical style of Bivol is going to come into play, and it's going to be too much for Beterbiev. You can rely on that power so much, you know, before you start getting tired. And I think Bivol has the better conditioning out of the two fighters. So I'm going to go with Dimitri Bivol. He's going to become the undisputed light heavyweight championship, or light heavyweight champion, rather, this Saturday when it's all said and done. So that's the main event. Check that one out. Watch it on DAZN. Watch it with your friends. Watch it on payperview.com. It is going to be a good one. So that's your main event. The undisputed light heavyweight title. The WBA, the World Boxing Association, WBC, World Boxing Council, IBF, International Boxing Federation, WBO, World Boxing Organization, and the Ring, which is an American boxing magazine. All the belts on the line. It's going to be awesome. So you have that. That's the main event. And then the co-main event, we got Daniel Dubois versus Joseph Parker for Dubois' IBF heavyweight title. This is going to be an interesting one as well. Daniel Dubois comes in with a 22-2 record, 21 knockouts, so he's a knockout artist as well. Joseph Parker comes in with a 35-3 record with 23 knockouts. So Dubois, he's on a 3-fight win streak since losing to Alexander Usyk back in August of 2023. And many of you remember from last September 2024, he knocked out Anthony Joshua, who's one of the greatest heavyweight boxers of all time. And as a result, he retained the IBF title, the International Boxing Federation title, as a result. And then Joseph Parker comes into this fight with a five-fight win streak. So we got a bunch of winning streaks coming into this fight. He beat Zhilei Zhang, who, as most of you remember, he absolutely annihilated Deontay Wilder last year. And he also beat Deontay Wilder as well, Joseph Parker. So he has some big names on his resume that he's beaten. Two top heavyweights there. So this is going to be another great fight. You know, another title fight. The second out of the total of 7 on this fight card. Who's going to win this one? This is the co-main event. I got Daniel Dubois winning this one. I think he's going to knock him out. I think he's going to knock out Joseph Parker. But yeah, two winning streaks going at it. So 2 big guys, 2 big heavyweights. It's going to be an interesting one. So you have that. The next fight, you got Shakur Stevenson versus Josh Padley for Stevenson's WBC lightweight title. So Shakur Stevenson comes into this fight 22-0. And then Josh Padley comes into this fight 15-0. So we got 2 undefeated guys going at it, right? And it's the lightweight title, so we got the small guys, so a lot of conditioning, a lot of punches are going to be thrown. It's going to be an exciting one. However, this fight was not originally planned. Shakur Stevenson was supposed to fight Floyd Schofield for the fight, but Floyd Schofield withdrew from the fight because he fell ill. He was in the hospital, and then his father tried to claim that he was poisoned by Stevenson's team, but then to avoid a defamation lawsuit, he withdrew that comment. He took it off social media and just claimed that, yeah, his son just fell ill. We don't know what really happened. I mean, I've seen reports that, you know, he had an allergic reaction to mushrooms, or, you know, his drink was spiked, or he just didn't feel well. Like, he got out of bed one day and he was just drained. So whatever the case was, it landed him in the hospital. It didn't look good. It was a scary situation for Floyd Schofield and his team. It seems like he's doing all right now, but obviously in his condition, he had to withdraw from the fight, and now comes in Josh Padley. Not a well-known fighter. I mean, he's 15-0, but not a lot of recognition versus Shakir Stevenson, who obviously is the champion, the WBC lightweight champion, competed in the Olympics. So this is going to be a great fight. Two small guys, lightweights. It's awesome. I'm going to go with the champion. I like Stevenson. He's going to continue his undefeated streak, and he's going to retain the title. So you have that fight as well. And then you have all these other fights. You got 4 more championship fights after those 3 that I mentioned. So you got Carlos Adams versus Hamza Shiraz. Carlos Adams is 24-1 with 18 knockouts. And then you got Hamza Shiraz, 21-0 with 17 knockouts. And then Virgil Ortiz Jr. comes in with an undefeated record, 22-0, 21 knockouts versus Israel Madrimov, 10 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw with 7 knockouts. So I got Virgil Ortiz Jr. winning that one. I believe he's going to continue his undefeated streak there. And then Carlos Adams, this is for Adams' WBC middleweight title. I'm going to stick with the champion this one. I got Carlos Adams winning that one. And then the Virgil Ortiz versus Israel Madrimov title, you got Ortiz's WBC World Interim Super Heavyweight, or welterweight, title on the line there. I got Ortiz winning that one. And then next card, this is another fighter I mentioned earlier. You got Zhilei Zhang, who has a 27-2-1 record with 22 knockouts. Like I said, you guys remember him from last year, absolutely dominating and destroying Deontay Wilder. He's going up against Agut Caballo. Agut Caballo, who is undefeated, 25-0, 17 knockouts. I'm going to go with Agut Caballo. I like his chances. He's undefeated. He has something to prove. I'm going to go with the contender, because this is for the vacant WBC interim heavyweight title. So this is up for grabs. Whoever's going to win this one becomes the champion. But I'm going to go with Agut Caballo. He's going to win this one against Zhilei Zhang. But another great matchup there. Big heavyweight matchup. Big boys going at it. It should be a good one. And then the first fight on this card, it's for the WBO light heavyweight interim title. You got Joshua Buatsi, the champion, the WBO light heavyweight champion. Joshua Buatsi defending his title against Callum Smith. Joshua Buatsi is 19-0, undefeated, 13 knockouts. And then Callum Smith is 30-2 with 22 knockouts. So all these fighters, they're knockout artists. They're knockout machines. It's going to be awesome. This is the first fight on the card. I mean, it's going to set the tone for the rest of this pay-per-view. So I'm going to go with the champion. I got Joshua Buatsi winning this one. And he's going to retain his light heavyweight interim title as a result. So, yeah, Beterbiev, Bivol 2, this Saturday, 10:30 Eastern Time on DAZN. Or pay-per-view.com, wherever you want to watch the fight. But all you boxing fanatics out there, the boxing community, this is going to be a hell of a pay-per-view. This is going to be a hell of a fight card. They're saying it's the fight card of the century, or one of the greatest fight cards of all time. I mean, when you got 7 title defenses, you got 7 championship fights on one fight card, especially in the sport of boxing, that is unbelievable. That's awesome. That is what fight fans live for. So check this fight out this Saturday. DAZN, pay-per-view.com, wherever you listen to it. Just look up Beterbiev versus Bivol 2. 7 title fights. It is going to be a blast. Check it out Saturday. The event starts at 10:30 Eastern Time. And watch some of the greatest boxers compete. So you have that going on as well. And now we're going to end this episode today with another fight night going on this Saturday, but it's going to be much later. So you got UFC Fight Night. You got Cejudo versus Zhang. Saturday, on February 22nd, 9 p.m., the main card starts. And then the prelims start at 6 p.m. It's gonna be live from Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle, Washington. The main event, you got Henry Cejudo, who is 16-4, going up against Son Yadong, who is 21, who has a 21-8-1 record. And these are the bantamweights. So 135 pounds. Henry Cejudo, he's on a 2-fight losing streak. He's getting old. You know, he's 37 years old. He lost to Merab Dvalishvili and Aljamain Sterling. He is the former flyweight and bantamweight champion. He's also an Olympic gold medalist from the 2008 Olympics in Beijing in wrestling. He won a gold medal in wrestling that year as well. So, Olympic gold medalist, a flyweight and bantamweight champion. This guy has had a storied career. You know, if he loses this weekend, then, you know, it's all good because there's nothing else for him to prove, especially at this stage of his life. So you have that going on. And then Son Yadong last lost to Peter Yan back in March of 2024. So it's been a while since these two guys fought. This one's going to be should be a very interesting fight. Bantamweight, small guys, 135 pounds. This is the main event for UFC Fight Night this Saturday, 9 p.m. The main card starts, 6 p.m. the prelims start. Who's going to win this one? I'm going to go with Henry Cejudo. I am going to go with the American. I do believe he bounces back from his 2-fight losing streak, and he gets the victory against Son Yadong. So you have that one going on. And then the co-main event, you got Brandon Allen. You got two middleweights going at it, so 185 pounds going at it. In the co-main event between Brandon Allen, 24-6 record, and you got Anthony Hernandez, who's 13-2. Brandon Allen's on a 7-fight win streak. His last loss came to Nassourdine Imavov. Nassourdine Imavov back in September 2024. And you guys remember, Imavov just beat Israel Adesanya a few weeks ago, one of the greatest middleweights of all time. So Nassourdine Imavov is a middleweight to watch out for. So that was his last loss, Brandon Allen's last loss. Since then, he's been on a 7-fight win streak. Anthony Hernandez is on a 6-fight winning streak. So the battle of the winning streaks, once again, this time it's the UFC and not boxing. And in his last fight, he beat Michel Pereira by TKO back in October of last year. So this is going to be a good fight. You got winning streaks from both fighters. I'm going to go with Anthony Hernandez. I like Anthony Hernandez in this one. I think he ends the 7-fight winning streak of Brandon Allen. But this is going to be a good one. Middleweights, 185 pounds, going at it. It's going to be a good one there. And then you got the next fight. You got Rob Font versus Gian Matsumoto. Now, originally, Rob Font was supposed to fight Dominick Cruz. Dominick Cruz was supposed to be on this fight card, but he retired, a few weeks ago. He posted on his social media that, he had 2 shoulder surgeries in 8 months, which is absolutely crazy, and, he's not a spring chicken, he's pushing 40 years old. So he just decided, yeah, I'm done. And yeah, good for him. Story career, one of the best of all time. He doesn't need to prove anything, but he was supposed to be on the card, and he was supposed to fight Rob Font, but they got Gian Matsumoto as a result for a replacement. He's undefeated with a 16-0 record. Rob Font has a 21-8 record. I'm going to go with Rob Font. I think he ends the undefeated streak of Gian Matsumoto in this one. So you have that fight. You got Jean Silva versus Malik Bekadzarian, who has an 8-2 record, and Jean Silva has a 14-2 record as a result. So I'm going to go Jean Silva, 14-2. He's going to win this one. And so you got that. And then now the first fight on the main card, you got Alonzo Menifield going up against Julius Walker, who has a 6-0 record, and Alonzo Menifield has a 15-5-1 record. I'm going to go with Alonzo Menifield. I've seen a few fights from him. He's a big light heavyweight, loud knockout power from him. He's going to handle his business. I'm going to go with Menifield to win that fight as well. So you got fight nights. You got UFC Fight Night, Cejudo versus Son, this Saturday, 9 p.m. Main card starts at 6 p.m. That's where the prelim starts on ESPN+. You got Artur Beterbiev versus Dimitri Bivol 2 on the Zone pay-per-view, on the Zone app, payperview.com. 7 championship fights happening on that card as well. You got the Four Nations Face-Off Championship tonight at 8 p.m. on ESPN, Go USA. And then you got March Madness starting in about a month. You know, the first round of March Madness starts on March 20th. So, and then Selection Sunday starts 4 days earlier. So all you basketball fanatics, especially college football or college basketball, this, March Madness is the greatest time of the year. It's the best time to watch college basketball. We got a month away. It's going to be amazing. Auburn's the number 1 team in the country, followed by Florida. So when you fill out your brackets, anything can happen. That's why March Madness is so special and it's amazing to watch. So yes, lots of sports, pre or post NFL. We still got, NBA, you got NCAA men's basketball going on. You got the NHL, this Four Nations format has been absolutely phenomenal. You got fight nights, you got boxing this weekend. You got a hell of a fight card, 7 title fights on the line. You got UFC this weekend as well. Henry Cejudo versus Sonny Dawn. Bantamweights headlining that pay-per-view as well. I mean, sports all around, man. I mean, there's something, if you're bored this weekend, you can't find something to watch, there will be something to watch in terms of sports. Just turn on something and enjoy yourselves. Play some bets if you want, but it's going to be a hell of a weekend for sports. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me on this edition of Guys Time to Prize, post-NFL, right? Yeah, we didn't talk about football once. It was just hockey, boxing, UFC, and a little bit of NCAA basketball, March Madness stuff. We'll get to that as the weeks come up. But yeah, no football this time. So yeah, crazy, right? But anyways, this episode today will be available as always on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. The video version of this episode is going to be available on my YouTube page at Guys Time with the Bryce. And so next week, I'm thinking of having an interview with pro boxer Kamel Macklin. It's for one of my assignments for my broadcasting program that I signed up for. I mentioned it a couple times here on the podcast, but I'm going to interview him. So you check that one out. I would love to have him here, ask him some questions, see when his next fight is. He's 1-0 as a pro. He's done a tremendous job. He's had a storied amateur career, a 2-time Metro Detroit Golden Gloves champ in his division. I mean, he's awesome, and he's an amazing person. So I'm going to try to get him on here for an interview. So that'll be next week's episode. And if it isn't, then we'll just start talking about, probably the results of the Beterbiev Bivol 2 fight card, and then obviously the Four Nations championship matchup from tonight. But yeah, just be on the lookout for the next episode, and we will get going with that. So like I said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me again. Enjoy the rest of your day. You guys are awesome as usual, and thank you for the support. All right, peace out. The Bryce is out of here. Take care, guys.